Okay, so let's quickly go over what's included in the box with the L50 amplifier. Of course, you have the amplifier itself, you have a 3.5 to 6.3 adapter, and the power adapter. Okay, so let's go over the specifications of the L50 here. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is that this is really cool. This actually uses the same MFCA modules as Toppings top amplifier, the A90, and also in some of their other higher end offerings. So that right there is a very, very important aspect of this. So that just kind of tells you the level of attention that they gave this and the thought that went into this as far as the internal components. So that right there is really, really cool. Now, as far as the power output, this thing can power almost any headphone, most hard to drive full-size headphones, maybe not all of them, but I would say most of them for sure. Of course, I did test this with the Verum ones. I got to borrow those from a buddy of mine, and it had no problem pushing those at all. Now, and as far as, of course, you have the high, medium, and low gain options here, which is great. Most of my testing was actually done on IEMs because I only own IEMs. And of course, most of my testing was, I did test like my Manana 2.0s on the high gain, but it was still more than what those even needed. And of course, with my Campfire Solarises, I kept it on low gain. But as far as the power output, this thing is capable of putting out 3.5 watts of power at 16 ohms, 2.8 watts at 32 ohms, 2 watts at 64 ohms, 540 milliwatts at 300 ohms, and 200 milliwatts at 600 ohms. Now, with my Solarises, I did notice, and again, this is only going to be something you're going to be probably noticing with sensitive IEMs. There is a little bit of channel imbalance between 7 and 8 o'clock, and a little bit of leakage as well. As far as volume range with a sensitive IEM, I was able to get up around 10 o'clock, I think, before I maxed out. So that still gives you plenty of volume control with even sensitive IEMs. So, yeah, so again, this is, I think, as far as versatility and ease of use, this is something that you can use with almost anything, again, with sensitive IEMs all the way up to a hard-to-drive headphone. Okay, so let's quickly go over what's included in the box with the E50 DAC. Of course, you have the E50 DAC itself. You also have a remote. You have a power USB cable. I've been using just a standard Samsung phone block with this. You can use other blocks. You might want to try different blocks because that can actually affect the sound. So depending on what kind of power output your block is capable of, that may actually affect the sound of the DAC. So a newer one is better for sure. You can also power this out of your laptop. I would actually recommend, if you can, get power from the wall or from a battery pack, that is probably a better option. Then you also have a USB cable here. This is the USB 2.0, the older USB, but this is also to get an audio signal out of the USB from your laptop or PC. Now, as for the specifications of the E50 uses Saber's latest ES9068 AS4 channel DAC chip, and it's combined with the XMOS XU216. It supports PCM, DSD, and full MQA decoding as well. Now, as far as the controls, again, we talked about the button here. This is a power button, so you can turn it off and on. And again, you can access some of the controls with this, but most of the controls are accessible with the remote. And as far as the remote, that gives you access to the controls to increase or decrease the volume, dim or increase the brightness of the display. Also, you can change the filters, mute and unmute, and then a few other controls as well. Now, as for buttons, knobs, inputs, and outputs, we'll go over the E50 first. On the front here, as you can see, there's not a whole lot going on as far as buttons or knobs. You basically have the on-off button here. It's also, it does say SEL for selector. On the back, you have your TRS balanced outputs. You also have your single-ended outputs, a digital coaxial input, an optical input, and a USB input. Of course, this is your power input here. Now, as far as the L50 on the front, we have a volume control knob. We have a 6.3 output for full-size headphones, and it also comes with an adapter that I've been using with my IEMs. Of course, you have an XLR output. 2 selector switches. The first switch here allows you to select between high gain, medium gain, and low gain. The second switch lets you switch between single-ended, balanced, or off for your inputs. And then on the back, you have your TRS balanced input, single-ended input. Then you have some pass-through options here as well. You have your single-ended pass-through, and then your TRS balanced pass-through. Then you have your power input here. You also have a USB Type-C. This is for your firmware updates. Now, as for the design, as you can see, these are companions, so they are designed to kind of go together, not just externally, but actually on the inside as well. But as you can see, these are designed quite nice. They look really, really good on a desktop. I like the simple design. You actually have 3 other color options. You can get this in blue, red, or silver. I chose the black. I just think it kind of went better with my stuff. I do like this red accent here on the volume knob as well. The housings are made of aluminum, and the face plates are made out of glass. Now, these are slightly bigger than their predecessor, the E30 and the L30, just a little bit longer, a little bit wider, but not by much. But yeah, so I like the design a lot, and the build quality overall is very good, and it feels nice to the touch. I like the finishes, and just overall I think it's a very, very nice design. Okay, so let's talk about the sound of the E50 and the L50. We'll talk about them mostly together because they were meant to be together. And I think this is a phenomenal pairing together. You can use these separately, so you can use the E50 DAC with a different amplifier if you want to, and of course the same with the L50, you can pair that with a different DAC if you want to. But they are designed to go together, but I will go over them individually just a little bit as well. Now, like I said here, most of my testing was done with these IEMs, and I did have access to one pair of full-size headphones, the Verum ones that I borrowed from a friend of mine. And this because of your low, medium, and high gain options on this amplifier, it gives you a wide range of listening options. So you can listen to a sensitive pair of IEMs, like I have my Campfire Solaris is here, or you can listen to a full-size headphone, and it'll power almost, again, it'll power. I read the power output specifications to you, and this can power almost any full-size headphone. This amplifier had no problem powering the Verum 1, and that's a pretty hard to drive headphone. There probably are some headphones out there that this may not drive fully, but I would say this is going to cover most of them. And again, having the low gain option, you can also pair this with sensitive IEMs. and have no problem with that at all. We did talk a little bit about the volume issues. Just again, not a big deal, not a deal breaker by any means, but just something you might need to know is there is a little bit of channel imbalance, volume leakage, and then you have about, with the sensitive IEM, I think it was up to about 10 or 11 o'clock. So that's plenty of volume control. Now, speaking of sensitive IEMs, again, I always use my Solaris, Solarises to test background noise, and the background noise on the Topping L50 here is basically non-existent. I heard nothing but a black background. So pretty much anything, any kind of acoustic music you listen to, if it's just a single instrument or a vocalist, I was listening to, I can't remember the name of the track last night, it was a violin, had some vocals in there. And I mean, the background was as quiet and as black as could be with the Solarises, and just really made that a very enjoyable listening experience. No distractions at all, no hiss, nothing. All you can hear is the violin. All you can hear is just the instrument or the vocal. So that was just a beautiful, beautiful pairing with the Campfire Solarises. Of course, I do have my Nano 2.0s here. These are a little bit harder to drive, but not much. Plenty of power to drive those. And then I have the unique Melody Mest MK1, Dunu Falcon Pro, and the Theaudio Clairvoyant. So these were the IEMs that I did most of my testing on. Now, when I was listening to the Verum 1, I know that that particular headphone has had some issues. I won't, this is not a Verum 1 review. However, I will say that the sound was pretty impressive on it, and I think that was a great pairing with that as well. I know that the Verum 1 has had issues as far as with build quality and just QC and other things, but my experience with the Verum 1 was actually pretty good. So now, as far as the DAC and the amplifier individually, the DAC, of course, like I said, you can pair this with another amplifier if you'd like. And now the DAC by itself, as far as the sound signature, I would say it's definitely not on the clinical or analytical side. It probably is more on the more musical, natural side. I would say it's, I would call it neutral, kind of leaning a little bit to the warm side. Definitely had that fuller low end, and which I love. I love that. But just a very, very clean DAC. The clarity and definition is just very, very good. But again, not too bright, not leaning towards the analytical or clinical side. As far as the overall sound quality of the amplifier itself, it's just very, very good. The again, black background, more of a neutral, I would say. Very balanced sounding. As far as detail retrieval, again, since it's not necessarily on the analytical side, it's not overly detailed, but it definitely has adequate, more than adequate detail retrieval. And as far as just overall clarity, sound stage width, and layering and texture, this has all of that in spades. There was almost nothing that I could find negative about the sound of either of these individually or together. So again, for the price, you can get both of these for $500, $269 for the DAC, $229 for the amplifier. So of course, like all of my videos, I always like to bottom line everything, and I think I've already kind of given away how I feel about this as far as the overall value to performance ratio. The performance that you get for the price that you pay is just almost ridiculous. This is an incredible combo, and these are also incredible pieces by themselves. So you just cannot go wrong. Again, for the price, you cannot go wrong with either of these. I would say if you have $500 and you're looking for a stack, I would easily recommend these, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be happy with these. And again, with the versatility that you have for use with either IEMs or full-size headphones, it's hard to beat. It really is hard to beat. So yeah, so this is a solid offering by Topping. Again, this was just a really exciting experience for me with these, especially. I'm remembering the first time I plugged these in and stuck the Verum ones in my head. I was quite impressed with what I heard, and then with my IEMs, man, just an absolute pleasure being able to listen and just test these two pieces here. Topping knocked it out of the park. I want to thank Gazaudio for allowing me to participate as a reviewer on their channel. Been having a lot of fun working with them. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. Please share this video. I hope you guys have an awesome day.